Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be a tutorial on this look here. I've done this tutorial sort of more chatty style because I felt like talking to you guys. I feel like I haven't filmed a beauty video in a while, so I thought I would talk as I go because I don't know, I just felt like it. Do let me know whether you guys prefer voiceovers or the chatty ones. I know people tend to go back and forth, so would you guys like a mixture or just chatty or just voiceover? Please let me know. I will have a voiceover tutorial coming out really soon for a Christmas look, but I thought I'd put this one up first because I really like the way that it turned out. To be honest, it's one of my favourite looks that I've done in a really long time. If you guys couldn't tell by the title, I created this look using my Morphe 35O palette, which I'm obsessed with. I've never owned like a big palette like this before, and this one is the bee's knees. I got mine from makeup.co.nz, so I will leave it linked off down below, along with the names of all of the other products I used in this video. I did also show you guys another lip option in case, you know, the super vampy look isn't for you. But yeah, I love it both ways. I'm going to love you guys and leave you. If you want to see how I got to this look, then please keep on watching. I'm just going to jump right into it, and I am going to start with the eyes today because these eyeshadows are super duper pigmented and I haven't used all of them before, so some of them might have some fallout. Before I do anything, I'm just going to put some concealer over my eyelids. This is just the Rimmel Lasting Perfection Concealer, just because I don't want my eyeshadows to crease or go on patchy on my lids. My eyebrows are like a little bit furry, so if you guys can see that, I apologise. I did only just pluck them the other day, but I obviously didn't do a very good job, so oh well. I'm just gonna buff that out. I'm just gonna buff that out with a XO Beauty flat top face brush. To set that concealer in place and to make sure that everything blends, I'm just using my face powder, the Australis Fresh and Flawless, on a Shimmer Chill Lip brush by XO Beauty, and I'm just patting it and blending it on. I'm not really worrying about the rest of my face because obviously, as I said, we're going to do that afterwards. If you guys have been living under a rock and you haven't seen the Morphe 35O palette, it is basically a gigantic eyeshadow palette with a mix of shimmery shades, matte shades, and ones that I'm going to call like full-on metallic shades because they're kind of like a step above shimmer. You get 35 different shades in here, and it's actually a really affordable palette. I got mine from makeup.co.nz, but there are other stockists as well. I will leave makeup.co.nz linked off down below if you guys are wanting to pick it up, or if you want to ask somebody to pick it up for you for Christmas. So I'm just taking this brush, which is actually unbranded, and I'm going to take the that shade there, the 5th shade on the top row, and I'm just going to smash that through my crease, just to give some dimension and just to act as a transitional shade. The shade kind of reminds me of MAC Soft Brown, which I really like, or MAC Wedge, which is one of my favourites. And these shadows are super pigmented, like this is just with one tap. I feel like this palette would last you forever. I feel like I've been using this every single time that I use my makeup, even if it's not like just this palette. I'll definitely pull in like a dark brown from here, or like the highlight shade. It's just such a versatile palette, and it just lives on the top of my desk because I use it all the time. Now I'm going to pick up the first shade, which is like the top colour up there. It's just a matte cream colour. It's like an off-white, I guess, or an eggshell. I don't know. It's just the perfect brow bone highlight shade for me, and I'm just going to apply that to the brow just with that same brush. I've obviously dusted it off, and then I'm just going to blend down into the transition shade just to make sure that it is nice and well blended and not too sharp of a line, which it wasn't before, but you know, just really got to make sure that it's nice and blended. Now I'm going to grab this shade here, which is sort of like a darker warm brown. I'm using the same brush, but I'm going to be pushing more gently, and I'm just going to work that into the crease just to deepen the colour, but I'm just sort of trying to not kind of like mash it in, whereas with the other one I was being a little bit more heavy-handed. This one I sort of just want it to stay right in the crease, because the other shade was like a little bit too light. I just sort of want to make it a little bit deeper. I've actually been having the time of my life doing Vlogmas, you guys. Like, I always thought that I'd be that person that never did Vlogmas, and I know that my channel is supposed to be a beauty channel and everything, but I just thought, why not do Vlogmas, because I thought it would be fun. So if you've been liking it, don't forget to let me know down below. And it's another great place where I can interact with you guys. I'm actually going to start answering some questions and talking about things, so if you guys have some stuff that you want me to talk about during Vlogmas, feel free to post it in the bottom of this video as well. Switching to a smaller brush, this is the Sigma E47, and it's just a little blending brush. I'm going to grab this shade here because it's still quite warm, but it's like super duper deep, and I'm just going to pick this up. The dark shades in this palette are really pigmented, so be prepared. I did this the other day and my look ended up like 20 times more dramatic than I wanted it to because I wasn't prepared, and I'm basically just going to pack this into my outer corner or add a V, whatever you want to call it, just to make it nice and dramatic. I'm not really too fussed with blending it onto the lid or anything because I am obviously going to be applying another shade there. I just sort of want to pack the colours on because I do want it to be quite dark. How are you guys doing? I feel like it's been such a long time since I've talked to you guys like this, even though it's only been, depending on when this video goes up, it's been just over a week, and I've just been really enjoying sort of taking a step back from the beauty side and doing some more vlogging style videos. I'm seriously struggling to choose right now, so I think I'm going to start with that shade, and then if I don't like it I'll pack the copper on top. But I'm just going to use my finger because this is one of those shadows that feels like almost really like creamy and buttery even though it's a powder. So I'm just going to pack this onto my eyelid. Oh yeah, I like this. I don't know, I was scared like this was going to be too neutral, but I don't know if you can see on camera, but it does actually have a really pretty kind of like peach hint to it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's still neutral, but it's not too neutral. Neutral. Okay, so I love it. I'm really glad I went with this colour. It looks so pretty. I'm going to continue to re-intensify the outer V, and I'm just sort of going to blend it across my lid, if that makes sense, so that there's like a little bit more of a gradient and it's less bright all the way across, because I think I kind of might have brought it a little bit too far onto the lid. I want it to sort of just be right in the inner corner. So these are the eyes so far. I'm really happy with them. I'm going to leave them for the time being, and I'm just going to do my face and then we can come back and finish them off. I'm just cleaning up the under eyes with some micellar water because I did have a little bit of fallout, so just want it to be a nice clean canvas for foundation. Today I'm going to be mixing two. I'm going to be mixing the Bourjois Air Mat foundation, which I actually did a first impression on. Like, I'm not even kidding you guys. I did the first impression a year ago. I might have actually deleted the footage when I went to a Bourjois event, and the foundation was supposed to come out the month after, so I just sort of hoarded the footage, and then the foundation literally only just came out in like September this year, which was crazy. I really liked it. I've got it in the shade 2, and then I've got the Cover FX custom cover drops in the shade N10, and I'm just going to add 1 drop of this to this foundation because it's just a tad bit too dark for me. Whenever I use these drops I always feel like a potions master or something, because I'm like dropping a little drip of it in and mixing it and adding more. Like, I just feel like I'm making a concoction of foundation. So today I'm going for a sort of medium to full coverage. I'm not going to go for like a super full coverage because I hate the way that thick makeup feels on my skin, like I'm sure most people do. So I'd rather just have sort of like an in-between coverage rather than like that flawless perfect finish, if that makes sense. If you guys know any really good like super high coverage foundations that feel really thin, please let me know. The only full coverage foundation that I own, or like proper full coverage, is the Kat Von D tattoo foundation, which I really like, but like I said, it just feels really thick, so I could never wear that on an everyday basis. So my camera stopped recording as soon as I started doing my concealer, but this is the Collection Lasting Perfection concealer, and I was just saying that I'm doing like the full highlighted Glam today just because my foundation looks a little bit too dark for my body, and I feel like when it looks too dark I like to brighten the inside of my face, you know, like the inner portions of my face. I feel like that just makes everything look a little bit more cohesive. I'll still be using bronzer because bronzer is my jam at the moment, but I don't know, I feel like just that brighter inner portion just helps me to look more, I don't know, pale but not pale. I don't know, just helps it look better with my body, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to use that same powder from before, the one from Australis. I'm just going to pick it up on the same brush that I used, which was one from XO Beauty, a tulip brush. And I'm just going to press that onto all of the highlighted areas. Normally I'd apply it all over my face, but today I just sort of want to powder those areas because the foundation that I used is like a matte finish. I really don't want to apply any more powder. For brows, I am using the same products that you guys have seen me use for a while, but I just love them. It's just the $1 Billion Brow Pencil, and I'm just going to fill them in the way that I always do. I can't really talk when I do my brows, that's why I always cut brows out of my makeup routine. Because if my brows look ugly, I don't say I feel ugly, but my makeup, I don't like my makeup as much. So now that my brows are on, this look is really coming together. The next product that I'm going to be using is one that I got a little while ago from Arden, and I never used it. And I'm like, holy crap, this is one of my favourite bronzers that I've ever tried. Not exaggerating. This is the Sunset Bronze Prismatic Bronzing Powder, And when I first got it, I was like, damn, it's really shimmery, but it was just an overspray. It's super duper pretty, as you can see. It's sort of like quilted, and I love it. So I'm just going to use an XO Beauty bronzer brush. I don't know if this is the same brush. This is an old one. And I'm just going to apply it sort of just a little bit underneath my cheekbones. You guys can see this colour is so pretty. Seriously, look at the bronze. Like, it's so pretty. It's just like the right colour that it kind of almost contours as well without needing to contour. Whereas some bronzers, I feel like they just look a little bit too, I don't know, they just don't look good on me. But this one I think is so pretty. So if this is still on counter, you need it. Go buy it like right now. Seriously, go buy it. Another new product that I am seriously obsessed with is one that I think you can buy in full size. This is the Too Faced Love Flush in Baby Love. I got this in a Christmas set, and this was one of the blushes, and oh my god, it looks sort of just like, not meh, but it just doesn't look like it's all that. But I put it on the other day and I was like nearly screaming. I'm just so into makeup right now, and this colour just like defines how I like my makeup to look. I just feel like my cheeks look so warm and like glowy and just amazing. And I'm really tooting my own horn here, but I don't care. If you guys like nude blushes and you don't have this one, you need to buy it. I love it so much that I'm actually contemplating buying the full size when I go to BECCA Maxima. Let's quickly finish off the cheeks because I just realised I haven't finished my eyes yet. For my highlighter, I am still using my BECCA ones. Since I got the BECCA highlighters, I was using some other ones in my collection and I was just like, they're not as good. BECCA highlighters are just so finely milled and amazing, so I can't use anything else, guys. This one is Moonstone, by the way. I like Moonstone when I'm doing more of a bronzy look, and if I'm doing sort of like a pinky or like purpley blush look, I'll use Pearl. But I don't think Pearl really complements this sort of skin look as much. Alright, so back to the eyes. I'm going to be taking that same dark shade and I'm going to buff that along the lower lash line. This look looks really, really good with a black eyeliner on the waterline, but you guys know I'm not a huge fan of it. But if you do want to do black, you do you. It looks really awesome. I'm just going to take that dark shade as close to my lash line as I can get. I'm still using that same little brush, and I'm just kind of focusing on the connection between the upper and the lower. That's the bit that I want to make sure is really seamless, and I'm just going to take it to about halfway because I don't want the deep, I don't want to close off the front of my eyes. I think they look really, really nice and glowy and open and pretty, so I don't want to make them look too dark. With that blending brush that we've been using this whole time, I'm just taking it clean with no product, and I'm just going to buff out that lower lash line just to make sure that it doesn't look too sharp. I'm also using that first brown shade that we started with right at the beginning, and I'm just going to run that through the crease, and again kind of focusing that on the outer corner, because after you apply your foundation and concealer, it can kind of mess with the shape that you've got, and I want it to look nice and rounded. For the inner half of my lower lash line, I think I'm just going to grab that shimmery shade that we started with, that we've got on the inner corner of the top lid. Learn to speak, Olivia. And I'm just going to very lightly buff it on. I really hope that those noises aren't annoying you guys, because they're annoying me. But I'm just going to buff it on with this brush because I don't want it to be too pigmented. Like, I don't want it to look like a crazy OTT shimmery lower lash line, but I just want it to be a little bit more shimmery. And then for the finishing touch, I'm going to take some of Moonstone, and I'm just going to pop this right in that inner corner area and just blend it in, just to make sure that it's like super duper bright and extra highlighted. I was just starting to talk about my lip colours, and I just realised I haven't got mascara on, so I'll be right back once I've got mascara. For mascara, I'm going to be using the Eye of Horus Goddess mascara. Once I've got it on, I will be right back. Alright, so now that the eyes are done, I chose two different lip colours that I thought would look really good with this look. One that's really risque and, to be honest, might not work when we put it on, and one that I know 100% works because it's just my favourite nude ever. Let's start with the nude because I feel like this will be the more popular option. This is YSL's Rouge Pur Couture lipstick in the shade 10 Beige Tribute, and this is just to die for. Unfortunately, you cannot buy this shade in New Zealand or in Thailand or in Australia, because I've been to all those countries and the only place I found it was America. It's just such a pretty pinky nude, and I'm not a pink nude person, but this lipstick is absolutely insane. So I'm going to apply this to my lips. I don't really use a lip liner with this colour because it's quite pale. I feel like you don't really need a lip liner. I just love it. It's kind of like my lips but way better. I just love this lipstick to pieces, and the formula is super moisturizing and creamy. It's kind of like a matte cream sheen, I guess. I always make sure to just blend it in with my finger because this is like a really pale lipstick for me, so I don't want to get any like, you know, sometimes with like a pale lipstick you can get some transfer and streaking and stuff. When I blend it in, it makes sure that it is totally perfect. So this is the finished look with a nude lip. I am so obsessed with the way that this looks. So if you like nude lips, then this might be the perfect option for you guys. And for those of you who are a little bit more daring and like vampy lips, I have this one here for you. This is my first time trying this. This was a press sample and it does say shade not final, so it might be slightly different if you guys buy it. But this is the Clinique Pop Liquid Matte Lip Colour and Primer in the shade Boom Pop. From memory, I haven't even swatched this. Ooh, super duper dark. Smells nice. Okay, I'm excited. And this is the finished look with a bold lip. I'm actually really impressed with the formula on this. It's just now starting to dry down. Not completely matte, but I can feel it sort of thickening in a way, if that makes sense. Like it applies quite moussey and liquidy, but now it just seems like it's sort of setting down to like a demi matte finish, and it doesn't feel too drying, which is really cool. So I'd definitely be interested in trying out more of these shades because obviously this isn't one that I would wear every day, but it is a nice one to have in my collection. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this chatty tutorial. It was something a little bit different for me. I went a little bit more dramatic and I thought that I would give you guys 2 lip options so that you could choose from super daring like this or a little bit more neutral with the nude lip. If there are any more videos that you'd like to see from me, like different looks, first impressions, tutorials, reviews, all that sort of thing, please do let me know down below because it helps me out with video ideas and it lets me know what you guys want so I'm not just making videos just for the sake of it. Thank you to all of you who requested a video using the Morphe 35O palette. Hope this satisfied your cravings even though it was slightly different than the original look that I was going to do. I just feel like this one is prettier and I'm really happy with the way that it came out. If you haven't already, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because it lets me know that you guys enjoy my content and that you want to see more. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to keep watching my Vlogmas videos and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!